Well, let's talk about how to destroy ISIS, and that certainly is something we've got to do. No more half measures, no more specific bombing of specific targets, no more surgical warfare. An all-out invasion against ISIS is obviously necessary. A third Gulf War obviously must happen. And maybe we shouldn't have gone in the first time. Maybe the second time we should have stayed longer with forces that could have stopped ISIS, but those are all should-have-beens. Right now we're confronting a very serious threat that could paralyze social and economic activity throughout the Western world, and we've got to deal with it. We should be sending troops to fight ISIS, over 100,000 of them. They should include heavy contributions, perhaps more than half, from France and the European Union, and it should be not an all-U.S. operation, but it has got to be a serious ground war attack on ISIS. The threat that this group poses, really to Western civilization and to our way of life, is enormous. And we've got to respond to it, and we've got to respond by wiping it out. Now, I do agree that we should get contributions from the Gulf states. Perhaps they should pay for it. And they have some manpower resources, particularly from Egypt. But fundamentally, it's going to require Western troops to do this. Now, one of the things that I've always been asking about is why we don't destroy the oil fields that ISIS is generating over $50 million a month of revenue from. These oil fields in Iraq and in Syria have fallen under ISIS control, and they are continuing to pump oil. And they're selling the oil, sometimes for as little as $10 a barrel, illegally on a black market through Turkey to make revenues, and it's a vast share of their revenue. Their revenue initially came from looting the bank in Mosul, where they got between $500 million and $1 billion. But the ongoing stream of $50 million a month is really what is sustaining ISIS. Now, it can't be that hard to bomb an oil field. We've had several strikes against it, but have not been able to disable it. But I suspect that's because we haven't really gone in with our best weapons and destroyed it. And if we can't do it from the air, we're going to have to do it from the ground. But once you cut off the financial flow to ISIS, it will wither. A large portion of the ISIS fighters, an overwhelming majority, are mercenaries, usually people from the old Iraqi army. And now they're fighting for money. And if you can cut off the money supply, you can destroy ISIS. But the real question is, do we have the leadership ability? Do we have the strength to do this? Will a president who is elected on a peace platform lead us into a third Gulf War? And the answer is he'd better, because we know where his mind is at. What he said Friday morning when he said that ISIS was totally contained would have been like Bush saying Al-Qaeda is totally contained on the afternoon of 9/10. This is just an outrageous situation, and we have got to move directly. So boots and men and equipment and tanks and women on the ground. Thanks for watching.